You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius-Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius-Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Good morning. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Deanie. We have a very special guest for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And as a matter of fact, text your buddies, family members, or even share it on social media right now and let them know that we are about to dive deep into another interview. Before I bring my guest on, I do want to say that you have to go for the best. It is nearly impossible to remain discouraged for long when your goal is compelling enough. If you have discovered or if you're discouraged, the answer is not to scale back your dreams, but rather to expand them to the point where you cannot help but be pushed forward by them. The challenges, the obstacles, the difficulties are going to be there no matter where you're headed. So you might as well be headed towards where you truly want to go. You won't always be able to control which challenges come your way, yet you can control what rewards are on the other side of those challenges. So make those goals, those dreams so big and so meaningful that the challenges will seem trivial by comparison. Your expectations will determine your attitude, and your attitude will determine your actions. Your actions, in turn, will determine the results you achieve. The future is yours to create, regardless of what happened in the past. Imagine the best, expect the best, and you'll know that you have what it takes to get there. Take that from me, Coach Deanie. That is my word. Are you ready?
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Deanie. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these incredible human beings. You know, the ones that are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL, where we bring you the most fascinating guests and insightful conversations. Today we have the honor of hosting Dr. Emelda Gerrard Maduakor, ACRPMC, ACRAC, a distinguished figure in the field of natural holistic medicine with the specialization in fertility and weight loss. Dr. Emelda brings a unique, holistic approach to her practice. Her impressive academic background and service in the U.S. Army make her a truly remarkable leader in her field. We want to welcome y'all to this captivating episode of VRL, where we dive into the intricacies of relationships and how to navigate them successfully. So today we're talking about meeting in the middle, how couples can handle disagreements, manage stress, and resolve trust issues effectively. So get ready for this episode. We're about to dive deep. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. So before we dive into what we have to talk about really and truly, could you start by telling our listeners just a little bit about yourself and what you are currently focused on in your practice?
So I'm actually a naturopathy doctor, so I deal with natural medicine traditionally. I basically specialize in weight loss, fertility, and anything that has to do with stroke management. So also, I do have a non-profit whereby I assist women and coach them on transparencies and life when it comes to relationship and how they can handle their marriages and so forth. So basically, I have been doing this for about 8 years now, and I'm also a mediator, not an attorney, but a mediator. Yeah, certified mediator in both Arizona and California state. And I have been working as a mediator for the past 4.5 years. And I'm also a clinical researcher, certified clinical researcher. And so basically, I kind of have this base of assisting people or individuals that come across along my lane when it comes to healthcare and how to get their life in place.
Fascinating, very fascinating. All right, so let's dive deep. I guess segment one would be like handling disagreements and conflicts. They are inevitable in any relationship. I have yet to meet the perfect harmony relationship where there isn't any disagreements, right? The key is not to avoid them, but to handle them constructively. So, how would you handle disagreements or conflicts in a relationship?
I would say I believe that disagreements are a natural part of any relationship, be you male or female, and the main key point on how to handle them is you have to handle them with respect. You have to handle this with understanding. For instance, for me, I always try to stay calm when it comes to disagreements, and I try to avoid escalating the situation. What I mean is when you start having that issue with me, like maybe my spouse is not in a happy mood and wants to talk to me and but having a little bit conflict with me in my relationship, that kind of person that will stay calm and listen to you. And I think with that, it's actually helped me to see where he's expressing his feelings. But respectfully, with this, we can always work together to find a standing point where we can come to a better agreement. So I would say the main two core point is to respect and understand the person. I think this is going to help a lot when it comes to disagreements and conflicts.
Do you have like a go-to method or approach when a disagreement does arise?
Sure. Let's talk about a little bit what I do follow when it comes to that. I actually follow a little bit, a few steps when it comes to that. First, I would say I try to ensure that this conversation takes place calmly. Okay, if you're the kind of person that wants to raise your voice, I'm going to be like, we're not fighting. We need to calm down, talk about this, and we can try to talk about this. It could be in a private setting so that I'll be able to understand whatever you're trying to say. And my basic main point is to listen carefully to all your details. That's the number one priority. I know I've kind of found that a lot of people will be like, when you're talking, they're talking over you. And this is not going to be able to help out. No matter how you try to handle the situation, when two people are becoming the king in one ship, it's definitely going to not help out. So the best is someone has to be the person to calm down, listen, and try to approach this in order for you to resolve this conflict effectively in both, it could be in both your personal life or your professional life, but whatever it is, you have to be able to listen carefully and try other methods to see how you can effectively resolve this conflict.
Absolutely. Does that also depend on the type of mate that you pick? You know, some people are different. They don't know how to express their feelings and emotions. Some speak with, you know, loud volumes at times, and some are, you
Yeah.
know, non-confrontational at all. You know, they may keep everything inside.
Yeah. So I could tell you that even some kids come in with little attitudes. And that's when you jump in and say, hey, please kindly tell me what's going on. Why are you acting this way, or what's going on? If they don't want to talk, okay, can we talk about it? Can we just do something? Can we say something? And then it's again, it depends on what you both have in agreement. For example, in my own marriage, I'm someone, and my husband have this protocol. We cannot keep malice the next day, no matter what it is. We have to settle it that same day. Meaning, if we have an issue that day before 10 p.m. bedtime, we need to talk about it. And even if we don't talk about it, we can never talk about that issue the next day. So it's kind of like this protocol we have in our relationship or in our marriage. The same way, if there's issues like this bumping in, and we definitely there's always issues when it comes to marriages, relationships, be it, like I said, personal or even at work. Um, you have to do everything like your best to try to listen to the other partner and try to see if it's something you can convince them to speak up. In a situation they don't want to speak up, give them a space, come back later and ask what is going on. Can we talk about this? Sometimes at that moment may not be the best time for them to speak when the situation is still kind of a little bit harsh. They may need some few time to kind of release off and then maybe talk about it and say what you did was wrong and I don't want to deal with this anymore. So yes, it's always the best. Give them the time, step out, and then come back to ask them and try to be that best listener to them.
Yeah. Also sounds like that, you know, these type of guidelines need to be set into the foundation when the relationship begins. Is that correct?
Of course. Of course. I've always told people when it comes to when I mentor them or coach them, look, when you are in a relationship, do every best to understand the opposite person of yours. You want to ask them a whole lot of questions, like, for example, how do you manage your anger management? So what are the ways, what areas do you, what are the things that actually pisses you off, like when you're dealing with issues, or maybe, kind of try to understand them in the right way. With that being said, you'll be able to make up your mind on the best actions you can always use to, resolve any issues both of you might have. Like I said, and I'll say it again, one person in this relationship has to be the calm person, and the other person has to, be the person that has to speak out and say, hey, you can never have two great people in a relationship whereby the two of them are going to be so okay and calm. I mean, it's very rare. Someone has to be the listener, and the other has to be the person that might have to always voice out their issues. So it is very, very important to always know at the beginning of this relationship what exactly your partner needs, what they want, and what you feel about them. It's very, very important.
Absolutely. Great points. Great points. And it is also important, to find a middle ground where both partners feel heard and respected. Compromise can often be a solution that strengthens the relationship.
Yeah.
It's what I found out in my marriage. Compromise a little bit, hey, everything be okay. It's not the end of the world if I give a little, meet them halfway. So, stress in relationship. Stress is another common challenge that couples face, whether it's work-related, financial-related, personal stress. It could take a toll on a relationship if not managed properly or the energy is not put in the appropriate places. So let's explore this further. How can couples effectively manage stress without letting it affect their relationship?
Ooh, okay. So stress management is actually crucial when it comes to maintaining a healthy relationship. Most couples can actually manage their stress together, either when you have what is called an open communication, and this can be about their worries, about their concerns, and it can also lead to supporting each other during tough times, and couples should always make time for relaxation and fun activities, such as maybe traveling or, doing some meditations and playing some games. Try to talk about life. That's the open communication on that. For example, my partner and I often we do take a walk together. And sometimes we do practice like yoga or this. This has really helped us to relieve our stress when it comes to our own relationship. So my best advice would be find a better ground and a better open communication, what both of you can actually do together. And with that being said, I would help out to kind of elevate some of this stress and relieve you off from it.
So, like daily and weekly routines that kind of help migrate the stress.
I would say most couples should try to put in days on either a weekly routine. It might not be daily. The reason why I say so is, this is America. We all have things going on and off, and there could be appointments, there could be things, there could maybe one way we might not have the time. So kind of place it in a weekly routine, and this can be maybe 2 times or 3 times. For me, what we do is we try to find out a basic timing for us to maintain our regular exercise routine, like taking a walk. And it has been, like I said, it's been very effective in managing our stress. And in a week, we do actually try to do like mindfulness meditation 2 to 3 times a week. And it really has been helpful. This is a country whereby the stress level is a little bit high, whether you like it or not, or you believe it or not, it is very high. And not just in relationship, even at individual places, you have to find a nut well on how you can manage your stress level. But as of now, we're talking about relationships. So either way, we just have to look for the best route to make sure that we try to take a break throughout the day, relax ourselves, and recharge our bodies.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what about, are there any guidelines in place when it comes to like bringing work home? There's a stressful day in the office and projects due, and, they want you to work during your home life, and that could be stressful as well. Are there any guidelines that should be in place when not to bring that kind of stuff home with you?
My best advice, okay, and I would say possible like a guideline is when it comes to, except if you're working from home, that's a different, criteria. Bringing your work home, sometimes I would say 40 to 50%, not the right position. But if you actually, that's the best way to complete all your duties and bring in your work home, I would say best thing is try to take a deep breath, take a rest, get yourself together, and make sure that you're able to attend to your partner, and then come back to basically doing what you need to do when it comes to your office duty. I don't really advise a lot of people that way to always bring anything that has to do with your work home. Because when you are working, when you're home, your home should be a relaxing moment. But like I said, if you have to complete your job duty in the house, please do. Or if you're working from home, that's a different thing. Then, you have to see how you're fixing yourself and make sure that this doesn't affect your relationship in order for you to have a peaceful and rightful home.
Absolutely. So, there is the elephant in the room for some couples, which is resolving trust issues. A lot of people bring past traumas or behaviors into their new relationships that haven't been resolved. And sometimes trust is that particular thing, right? So trust is the foundation of any healthy relationship, but it's also fragile and can be damaged without your partner even knowing what they did. But it happens. So let's talk about how to rebuild and maintain trust. What are some effective strategies for resolving trust issues in a relationship, in your opinion?
Okay, my opinion when it comes to trust. Now, that's a very vital question. I would say, believe it or not, there is always one person in that relationship that does will not be truthful sometimes, and I'm not saying it's 100% real, but I would say like 30%. But still, the fact when it comes to trust, for you to maintain a very healthy relationship, I would say always believe whatever your partner say until they give you the benefit of doubt, whereby there's something hidden. And I hear this. Sometimes I hear ladies say, "Oh, I went through his phone to check these, and I found these." And now, before that happened, there's already a mistrust going on, right? And for you to try to get into his phone and checking all these is because you're already having issues of trust. Best advice is the only person that can make you happy is yourself. You are the only person. You can't continue to believe in your partner to make you happy. You can make yourself happy, and the only way you have to make yourself happy is keep believing whatever your other partner says. Trust whatever they're doing. Even when they're doing it wrong or right, try to bring it to their attention. But if you have to have a healthy relationship, I will say put a positive trust in your relationship. When you do that, you eliminate any issues that has to do with unhealthy relationship in your own relationship. And it is always best advisable to a couple to always have a talk. For example, you guys can schedule a time whereby you can tell each other, is there something that I need to know that you could have done that could affect our relationship? I feel this can be maybe creating a date time whereby you both can go out for a date and talk about this. And with that being said, you will see that you building your trust in your relationship will definitely go high. Another thing is couples can actually create a proactive plan for setting a very clear expectation when it comes to their boundaries. And that's when we talk about the phone, checking each other's phones, or maybe looking into each other's emails and stuff like that. Regularly checking on each other at a time, when I mean maybe calling or texting, how are you doing, can also, start building up a trust in a relationship, and being open, being honest about their feelings, about who your partner is to you, will definitely build a trust in your relationship. Trust is actually built over time. It just has to see where you guys and consistently take actions towards it. Like I always tell people, it's very important to follow on all your promises you have made through with your partner. And with that being said, it's going to build up a very reliable trust in your relationship.
Absolutely. What role does transparency play in building and maintaining trust?
So transparency is, I would say, the best role they'll play is be open. When you are actually open to your partner, I feel there'll be a level ground within your relationship. What do I mean by that? For example, maybe you have a wedding, or you have an information, or you have a travel to do. If you're being open and say, hey, you know what, hey, I'm going for something, or I'm going to be doing this, and you'll be trusted with every little thing you do, both at home, but in the office, it will build up a better level of trust in your relationship. And I have seen a whole lot of families that has really helped. And I have also seen a whole lot of family that, or few family that also it has damaged. Sometimes when you're being transparent to your opposite partner, Um, I have noticed that sometimes, which, based on what I've had through when we do like coaching, you see something like, oh, I did told him the truth, but still it got me into trouble. That's why sometimes I don't really want to talk about anything to him. I just, no. You have to keep being transparent. You have to be open. Open-minded discussion is always very important when it comes to relationships.
Absolutely. And yeah. So, what about enhancing emotional connections? Another crucial aspect of meeting in the middle is enhancing your emotional connections. So, how do you think that couples strengthen their emotional connections?
So couples can actually strengthen their emotional connection by spending quality time together, which is very vital. Expressing appreciation either by exchanging of gifts or maybe actually buying each other gifts, and regularly sharing their thoughts, regularly sharing their feelings. Activities, like I did said previously, date timing or date night can actually be helpful. Shared hobbies, also simple talking to each other and understanding each other's day-to-day activities can also deepen their emotional bond. So it is very vital that couples try all their best to spend quality time together at all times.
Absolutely. All right. So how important, I don't know if couples do this anymore nowadays, kind of share their personal goals and their dreams and things that they want to do, in life. It kind of, well, I won't say this happened in every marriage, but I've seen this happen to where, like, you can get two big dreamers together and they kind of get into a marriage, and then the whole husband-wife dynamic where you work, come home, raise kids, work, come home, and the dream and the adventures kind of go away. How important is it to share those details with your mate and even help push each other to continue dreaming, continue reaching, continue making goals?
I'll say it's actually very important. Sharing personal goals is very important when it comes to a relationship. And when you share your personal goals and your dream in your relationship, it does allow couples to understand each other's aspiration. For example, someone like me, a kind of person that actually wants to dive into a political career. Now, when I and my husband started our conversation, when we started to know each other, and one thing I did remember asking him is, are you okay and comfortable for me going into anything that has to do with political aspiration? And he said, oh, sure. I mean, if that's what's going to make you happy and be successful, I will support you all day long. And I'm like, okay, that's another thing that's very vital. When you want to make sure your relationship is great, always speak out about your goals and your dreams to each other. Because, for example, the other person might not want to or may not want you to actually go into maybe anything that has to do with politics or maybe anything that has to do with a calling for, doing something right. So the best bet is speak out, try to share each other's goals and dreams, and try to ask questions about each other's, what they plan on achieving. For example, you can tell, where do you see yourself in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? And that aspect can guarantee or make you guys be able to know what exactly you guys are actually meant to be before moving to the next step of maybe what is called marriage. This helps in aligning your future together. It helps in aligning you guys' plans. It helps in building and sharing a vision for you guys' life together. So, quote unquote, it is best to, display and also share your personal goals and dreams in your relationships.
Absolutely. We know that communication runs the nation. And in closing, what are some effective communication techniques for couples?
So, first of all, we're going to say what is actually this effective communication? It's actually a very key point that prevents much conflict from escalating. Yes. Couples can actually improve their communication skills by being an active listener, which is very important. And this can be like expressing their feelings to each other honestly. There's some that will be like, okay, I'm expressing my feelings, but then at the end of the day, are you being honest with me? Are you really telling me from the deep of your heart what you are actually personally going through? And you can actually also, express your feeling respectfully. You don't have to raise your voice or argue or anything. Just respect your partner, speak out, and also try to seek for understanding to be understood. It is very important. This can be helpful by using, sometimes use the word like I said, I, or you did this to me, to avoid sounding accusatory on any issue. So I would say to end it as a personal reasons, couples should try to improve their communication skills by being active listeners to each other.
All right. Wow, a bunch of good tips from Dr. Emelda. How can our listeners connect with you online? And do you have courses, books, and material to help navigate these marriageal conflicts?
Yes, so basically they can go on a non-profit side, which we actually, like I said previously, we've been helping a whole lot of women when it comes to their relationship, their lifestyle. So it can be at www.proudlywomen.org. And once you click that, you'll be able to get in touch with us. And you can also go to the Instagram by looking for Dr. Emelda Gerrard Maduakor. So those are the two best ways to actually communicate. And guess what? You will have the best way or area in order for me and us to communicate and have a better understanding and move a better life forward.
Absolutely. I do have one final question for you.
Okay.
How do you view the state of marriages in 2024? Is divorce still on a high rise? And why are you passionate about changing these dynamics?
I would say divorce is actually on a higher rise right now. The trend, and if you look at it, 2024 has been really hectic, most especially during this recession period. The main reason of me trying to change this dynamic is because, to be honest with you, a lot of children or few kids I've spoken with could have had issues or basically have seen this divorce phase in their life has been kind of affected. If there is a way for us to, keep our marriages or keep our relationship, I say please do. But in a situation whereby you have maybe an abusive partner, I would suggest you walk out of the relationship. But at the same time, this has been affecting a lot of kids. And when you talk with them, I actually want to talk with my dad. I want to talk with my mom. What happened? My classmates are always telling me what my dad or what their mom did. So there's this piece or part of pieces that is really missing in there. But like I said, if your partner is abusive, please do walk out. If the relationship is not helping you to become the best of who you are, please do walk out. But at the same time, try to see how you can build yourself to be happy. I always tell people, you cannot wait for your partners to make you happy. You cannot wait for your friends to make you happy. You are the person that needs to make yourself happy. You have the key. Go ahead and make yourself happy.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. Thank you so much, Dr. Emelda, for sharing your insights, your expertise with us today, navigating conflicts, managing stress, resolving trust issues, and how to maintain effective communication throughout the relationship for a healthy and strong relationship. We're trying to do better, people, especially as married couples. We're trying to do better. We're trying to take that divorce rate down. So make sure you connect with Dr. Emelda just in case you're having these kind of issues, or you're thinking of marriage and kind of want some guidelines. I think the perfect place to start is with Dr. Emelda. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and do have a great time.
All right, you too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio Live. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, the app Podcast Addict, or over at our website, which again is onlyonemediagroup.com, and that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you like to request some music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That is V as in Victor. And here's my disclaimer: we are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Just kidding. On behalf of myself, Denny, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, at all social media sites, as well as Spreaker, YouTube. We always follow back. Okay, well, just remember to put yourself into everything that you do and never stop investing in yourself. Peace, love, grilled cheese, and talk with you later.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius-Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.